All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Uncalled For podcast, Soccer Edition. Right now, Soccer Edition is just a placeholder for this. If you guys have any suggestions for this edition, then you can tweet us at the Uncalled For on Twitter and give us name suggestions for this edition. We're going to start off by introducing everybody again, and we're just going to tell you what our favorite team is in the respective league. So I'll start off for my name is Logan. And I am a diehard Manchester United fan.
And I am Brady, and I am also a diehard Manchester United fan.
I'm Trey, and I'm a gunner. Let's get it.
Hey guys, I'm Ben, and I'm a Chelsea fan.
All right, so for this first segment of this podcast, we are going to go over the weekend scores. This week, or rather the past week, has been the international break, unfortunately. But we have some scores from the international break. We're going to start off with a 9-1 victory for Italy over Armenia. So that was a rather huge thumping. Followed by Spain with a 5-0 victory over Romania. And previous to that, they also had a 7-0 victory over Malta. The next game we will go over is Switzerland winning 6-1 over Gibraltar.
Did Xhaka play?
That is a good question. I would assume so.
Because he usually captains for them.
Here, I can quickly look that over real quick. That is not a problem.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter.
So then we will follow that over by France winning 2-0 over Albania, as well as England getting a 4-0 victory over Kosovo. And previous to that, England had also beaten Montenegro 7-0. Portugal had 2 outings against Luxembourg and Lithuania, respectively, winning 2-0 over Luxembourg and 6-1 over Lithuania. Germany had a 4-0 victory over Belarus. Belgium had a 4-1 victory over Russia. Denmark had a 6-0 victory over Gibraltar. And the big old US of A with a 4-1 victory over Canada. Those were just the highlights of the weekend with
Go
the international
America.
break. So congratulations to the U.S. and all of the other respective countries for winning their games. There were plenty of games over the international break, but they're just too many to cover and not really that notable of nations. During this segment, keep in mind that we will, especially during the international break, only go over the major nations and rather large victories with the smaller nations. And when we go into league play, then it will also be usually like the top 4 sides in each league, top 5 leagues of Europe. So we'll start off with a kind of controversial story over the weekend. I was notified over Twitter that a youth coach in Italy by the name of Massimiliano Riccini of the Italian club Invictusaro was released this weekend. The reason being is his academy side won 27-0. Yes, you heard that right. 27-0 over a fellow academy side. Now, the president started off with a statement this weekend regarding that, saying, "We were stunned and deeply regretful when we heard that our youth team had won 27-0 against Marina Calcio, and further said that the values of youth football are contradictory to that the opponent must always be respected, and that was not the case today." Now, I know that people, especially the president, was saying that he is supposed to be a role model for the academy side, and the president deemed that he was not very much of a role model in that occasion. Now, what do you guys think about that?
The team that lost 27-1 must be ran by mobsters and paid off the club to fire him.
I'll tell you this. I wish for some context, Logan and I once upon a time were soccer coaches. And we didn't have the best team. And I wish coaches would have got fired when they beat us pretty bad. It would have made the season a lot easier as we went on. But, I mean, Listen, I'm a strong believer. I don't like letting up on teams. Even if I'm on the receiving end, I hate when people don't try. You know what I mean? That's like it just makes me feel worse about myself. So, if you're gonna beat me 10-0, what the hell is 17 more goals? What is it? What does it matter then? So I don't know.
I mean, it definitely decides who is the far superior team in that instance, doesn't it?
Well, one thing we don't know in this, did they sub out all their starters? I mean, if the substitutes are fucking banging in fucking 6, 7 goals apiece, then what are we supposed to do about it? Take players off the field, just say don't play anymore? You know, I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't like.
If anything, you would want that. You would want that out of one of your academy teams to be winning 27-1. I mean, I'm sure there are other academy teams in different nations that maybe not be 27-1, but have fairly similar scores, like 9-0 or something like that. So I mean, I don't know. That's just weird. If anything.
If
I
I was
mean-
an owner, I would want my teams winning as big as they can every time they go out on the field. The other team doesn't like it, then they need to be the ones to stop it. Other than that, just
I
keep
mean, you can't like put a limit on your team. Like, all right, you scored 15 goals. Like, I want you to just pass the ball around the back, or at least, like, I don't know. The whole situation is just weird to me. That's weird. I've never.
I mean, do you think they tried like parking the bus? I mean, Jesus Christ, how do you let in 27 goals? I remember when Logan and I were coaching, we were letting in goals. Like our defense was leaking like a faucet. And it seemed like every time the ball was kicked, it was a goal. I mean, we had, they were scoring off crosses and everything. And eventually Logan and I just like changed the formation. We were playing a 5-4-1. We couldn't get any more players behind the ball if we tried. So, and we gave up and we played for draws and we started getting them. And I don't know. I mean, Jesus, like put a couple kids just on the goal line. I mean, I don't know what they could have done. I mean, were they playing against? Did fucking Ronaldo relegate himself to a fucking youth team or something and decide to play for him? Because I don't know. I mean, the team that lost, the talking point should be the team that lost like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
I mean-
anything, it shouldn't be on the coach that got fired.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean,
that team needs to figure it out.
I figured maybe he got
fire
fired.
their coach.
Well, I figured maybe he got fired, but he hit one of the kids or something. And I mean, shit. If my goalie let in 27 goals, I'd probably hit the little bastard too. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I would call into question the president over this because wouldn't it be more respectful to go all out and just not hold up, not let go of like the throttle? Like, why would you let up on an opposition that is lesser than you? You should show them the full force of what they're getting into, especially if they're in an academy setting. Like, this isn't even recreational soccer here. This is in an academy going against another academy. This is competitive.
yeah,
By no means was this score competitive at all.
27 goals, Jesus Christ.
yeah. I don't think. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, it's an amazing stat. But I mean, you know what? Didn't if I remember correctly, when Ronaldinho was a kid when he played in Brazil, didn't he score like 20 goals in a match?
It was something up there. It was at least 20 goals.
Did they just say, "Hey, kid, we're kicking you off the team. You're fucking done. That's disrespectful. You just scored 20 goals." You know what I mean? Like if people just need to get over it. I mean, you know what it is? It's either like Trey said, it's either the mafia from the team telling them that they got to get rid of their coach and shit, or it's the fact that it'd be like in America where like some butthurt ass parents be, that's just unacceptable. Jimmy shouldn't have to go through that. Where's his medal? You know what I mean? So it's like,
I think either way, it's going to be a lose-lose because if they let up, then people are going to get mad saying they're not trying. And
that's how I would feel.
I would feel disrespected if some people let up
Exactly.
on me after hitting double digits. I mean, like,
Keep going.
you're telling these kids that they shouldn't keep trying to score. They're trying to put out their best effort, and they're trying to do the best that they can. And it just so happened that they scored 27 goals on opposition.
Or as a coach, you could just tell your team to walk off the field. Because I mean,
You know what they always say: play to the whistle.
That is facts.
And play as hard as you can until the game's over. And I expect that from my team that would be winning, my team that's losing, the team I'm playing against. And yeah, I mean, it sucks that you lost 27-0. Or I mean, it's great you won 27-0. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they should have got rid of some of the kids too. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'd blame them.
I would definitely call into question the other team. If they're proving themselves to be inadequate for academy play, you must sign other kids to further your academy and develop your academy.
Here's the thing.
Their whole role is to break into the first team.
Yeah, so here's the thing where I look at it too. So let's say like the kids on the team that lost 27, that got 27 goals scored on them. Granted, we can't watch the game, but what if the thing is can you blame? I'm sure those players got to the point where they quit, where they weren't trying anymore, and the other team probably said, you know what, we're still going, and then it's not really on the team that won. You know, I really have a hard time believing 27 goals could be scored. I mean, shit, I can play FIFA on like amateur and I'd struggle to score. I don't know if I could score 27 goals in a game on any mode. You know what I mean? It's like, so that just seems like, I think there's two parts of this. I hate that this whole thing of firing that coach is just over. Is crap. That's complete crap. I mean, that's just people being butthurt and, you know, wanting things to be fair and all that kind of shit. And that's just not how things work. So,
especially in sports, you got to have some competitive nature.
Yeah. So
I would have to congratulate this youth team on scoring a goal almost every 3 fucking minutes. Like, that is impressive. You're averaging a goal a little over every 3 minutes. Then you're obviously doing something right.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you got to think about it. Like, you scored, then the other team gets the ball back. So that means within 3 minutes, they take it off the other team and score again. I mean, it's like, you know, it is pretty impressive. But
at that point, they're getting what they asked for. You want to show up and play, or you want to show up and shut up. And that team showed up and played their ass off and got almost 30 fucking goals. So, like, props to them. They can only do what they were fucking coached to do. And honestly, I see no problem with this coach getting another role at some other academy, because obviously he's doing something right. Or that other team is doing something very, very wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take him. I mean, for sure.
I would too.
You know, somebody will pick him up and say, hey, you don't want a winner? We do. So
it's just imagine like for his interviews. I mean, if he goes to like another academy and like interviews for a job, it's like, what happened to your last club that you were at? Oh, I beat some team 27-1. They fired me.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. You go to the unemployment line. Like, what'd you get fired for? I was like, you have other coaches. Oh, you know, we were 0-15. We didn't win a game. What are you here for? I won a game 27-0, and they just weren't having it. Like, who just. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. I think it was kind of it's just a publicity thing. I mean, it's probably a good academy. They'll probably win every game easily. They probably have the players to win easily every game. So they'll probably just do more of the same. Maybe just implement a mercy rule then, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know here in the States, when you play JV or varsity for high school, we have a mercy rule. It's 8 goals. You have to be winning by 8 goals when you get mercy ruled. Having plenty of times to our women's team, God knows. And I mean, when I played outside of school, once you got up to, like, I would say 6 goals, each goal after that, you had to take a player off. to balance it out for the other team. And there was times where we were playing with 7 kids on the field and still controlling the game. So, I mean, you can try to take measures, but there's just a clear difference in skill at that point.
Yep.
So I would probably wrap up this. I think we're all unanimously agreed that the one team is doing it right, one team is not so much. So I'm going to give my uncalled for opinion and say props to the coach, props to the players, and props to the scouts that brought them in. Congratulations.
I agree. Get over it.
Get good, kid.
All right.
All right. So we will wrap this up with the predictions for score lines over the weekend. We're going to go through all of the Premier League since we are all there.
Wait. There's something I wanted to talk about. We were talking about international. This is a big deal. The man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo, 99 career goals.
Yep, one more off of 100. And
let me ask you this. Do you guys think, is he the GOAT? Is he not?
I think he is the undisputed GOAT out of anybody. I mean, you cannot put up numbers like that consistently every year for the past decade.
I think,
and not be in there for the talk.
See, I don't know. That's kind of a toss-up for me because when you look at international mixed with club, probably Ronaldo. You can say Ronaldo because he's had by far more international success than Messi. And we all know when Messi gets to Argentina, it's almost just like he can be hit or miss. You know, he'll put the team on his back or he'll just completely disappear. But I think it's kind of hard to I don't know. Like that one's kind of a toss-up for me because I don't know.
I think it's almost impossible to deny Cristiano Ronaldo his rightful place at the top of soccer at the moment. I mean, you have to think about all of the clutch moments that he's had, especially in finals, and especially carrying that Real Madrid team like he did.
The most memorable moment for me and recent for Ronaldo was the World Cup game against Spain when he scored that free kick to tie the game.
With the hat trick. Goal.
That was like
special.
That was that moment right there where it was just like, damn, this dude is like, that really just happened. It was kind of one of those moments.
I've had a couple of moments with him watching him play internationally where I've thought that. Obviously the hat trick against Spain was one. The free kick, you know, in the dying moments to tie it. It was unbelievable. Number 2, another one, I remember when they were playing Sweden for the 2014 World Cup for the qualifiers in the playoff game, and he scored a hat trick in the away leg for it. And, I mean, 3 great goals. And where you think, I remember, too, that was right before the Ballon d'Or voting that year, and it's kind of funny because he scored the hat trick and they reopened the voting, I think, the next day, and then he ended up winning it. But that was the moment where it's like, he's the man. And then, and honestly, it's one where he didn't even play and finish the game. Was in the final of the Euros in 2016, where he got hurt, tried to come back on and play, couldn't, got subbed off. But the whole time, he was on the sideline with his knee wrapped up and everything, being the captain, the leader of that team, almost taking the role away from the coach. And where you think, yeah, you know, it's like even if the impact he has on the team goes deeper than just him playing for him and what he can do on the field. But, you know, when I think about the GOAT, I don't know. I don't really. All I'll say is Messi and Ronaldo are the 2 best players they're the 2 best players I've ever played. I think their numbers speak for themselves. If they played in other eras, I think their numbers would be even better. But I'm kind of biased for Ronaldo because I'm a United fan. But it's like one of those things where Messi and Ronaldo both have those moments. Like one will have their moment like, oh, they're the best, and then the other one will have their moment like, oh, I'm the best. And then everybody goes on this like you'll watch Twitter when they get a hat trick or something, and it's just like they always have something to try to outdo each other, and nobody can be on their level. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to talk about them, that because that was a big deal. He's at 99. He's got to wait a few months to get to 100 for the chance. And one thing is too, a lot of people hate on it and say, "Oh, he scored against this lesser team." Blah blah blah. Well, my point to that is, what's everybody else's excuse? Why doesn't everybody else score a hat trick against a lesser team? That's the way I look at it. It can't be. You can't have it one way. So, other teams, other top national teams play lesser teams, and what's everybody else's excuse then?
yeah.
They're just not the GOAT.
So
I don't know though. That's like I said, that one's a toss up for me because I feel like if I was to choose between whichever one of them, I don't know. I just get this feeling in my gut that was just like you might change your decision within a week or something like that. I don't know because I have been choosing back and forth between them, but honestly, I'm just getting ready to just call it even. I mean,
Well, then let me pose this question to you all real quick. Let's say that you were a coach and you were leading your team and you were in the final of a competition. Who would you rather have in that final? Would you rather have Messi or would you rather have Ronaldo?
I don't know. I really
That's
don't.
such a tough question.
I don't know.
I think time and time again, Ronaldo has proved himself in the biggest pressure moments, those most notable moments in your career, and he has come up more often than not to fulfill his duty.
I think I'd end up picking Ronaldo too, just even for the fact if he's not on the field, he's going to be right there on the touchline, driving that leadership, getting the other players where they need to go, and
Yeah, I mean, we did see it in what was it? God, what was it was in a final game. Didn't he get hurt? And he was on
the Euros.
Euro.
the Euros. He was on the sideline coaching.
yeah,
and
the
it was just
manager's
like,
sitting down, he's on the touchline.
That's just like that is GOAT qualities right there. I mean, you can't knock that.
Because I know if I was a player and I saw that, it'd make me play even harder, and I'd want to win it for him too.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I definitely feel. That's one thing I look at Ronaldo where, he's not at his peak anymore. But when I look at him and you look at him as a player, he could do everything in his absolute peak. The speed, dribbling, right foot, left foot, heading, crossing, whatever you needed him to do in the moment, was arguably the best in the world at almost everything. So and the thing is, where Messi, it's just magic with how he does it sometimes. Because sometimes you watch it and you're just like, I don't understand how this works, how somebody's like this, and I don't know. I just wanted to kind of stir the pot a little bit, but I definitely would say they're probably they're the best two that's ever lived and ever played, and they'll be the new standard in 20 years. Where you looked at Pele and Maradona. Now
I don't think anybody will be able to reach that. I
don't
really
think so
don't.
either.
I don't.
Because
I
I
don't
mean,
think so
they're
either.
saying that. Well, not there. A lot of people are saying that next up is like the Mbappe, the How Felix, but I don't even think they're going to be able to. Because especially at Mbappe's age now, what is he, 20? He's not doing what Ronaldo or Messi was doing at 20. I mean,
Well, actually, he is. But here's the difference.
League One.
League One, where at 22 years old, that's when Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or for United and scored 42 goals and won the Champions League. And also as part of the team won 3 straight Premier Leagues. But also, like I said, heading, left foot, right foot, dribbling, speed, strength, had it all. Everybody kind of has a specialist of either they're just really, pacey, all these kind of things. where he really put it all together, and is one of the only people to ever put the complete package together. And the thing, I think somebody said a stat. It's like to score as many goals as Ronaldo would, you'd have to score like 20 goals for like 25 years or some shit. It's some ridiculous 30 years, some crazy fucking stat. It's like, how is it even possible? Because when you look at the two of them, Messi and Ronaldo, scoring like fucking 50 plus goals a season, where they just changed the game. Where before it was like, if you scored 20, that was awesome. It's an awesome season. You scored 20 plus goals. They raised the game to the elite, to their elite level
50.
is over 50. And it's like, and when they don't get 50 and they're in the 40s, people think they're slipping. When it's still like as good as has ever been and anybody's ever seen. I mean, I looked in 2012, the year 2012, Messi scored, oh fuck, what was it? He scored 50 goals in the La Liga season in 2011, 2012. He scored 90, was it 92, 93 goals in the 2012 season, in the 2012 year. You know, I think, yeah, just the amount of goals that they, they put up, and Ronaldo still does it in Italy. It's kind of odd how, not France, but Juventus can't really put it all together for him, but whatever. We can move on from them. They're the two best. And
Well, I'm glad you
Santa
brought
Fe.
up that Portuguese game because I do remember that there was a hint of controversy in that regarding Ronaldo's 99th goal, in the fact
yeah.
that he took that goal away from Diego Jota, which would have been his first international goal, where Ronaldo kicked it in basically from the goal line. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Listen. Diego Jota has many, many years to play.
Sure.
Yeah, well, Nani stole one of the greatest highlight reel goals from Ronaldo years ago
That is
when he
true.
played against Spain, where Ronaldo sent PK flying, froze Puyol, and chipped Casillas, and Nani tapped it in headed it in off the line and was offsides and ruined it for him. So, I don't have a problem with it because it's happened to him, and where it hasn't even counted as a goal. But
I mean,
I'm,
that is a
at the end of the
testament
day,
to how lethal and ruthless he is to score.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I doubt Diego Jota probably really cared that much.
Yeah,
No, he looked pretty happy.
He's probably
when they were
just happy.
celebrating.
He's happy to be there. You know what I mean?
Plus, I mean,
like,
he still gets an assist. It still counts for something.
Yeah, he's just happy to be there. So
yeah, that'll wrap up the international portion. Before we go into our predicted score lines, we're going to talk a little bit about the Premier League table as it stands right now. I know that Liverpool are very far ahead, but I'd like to highlight the struggles of, in particular, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Tottenham, especially Tottenham. I mean, they're all the way down in 14th when just last year and the past couple years they've been top 3, top 2 team,
Champions
and
League
now
finalists.
gone so far.
Sure.
Yes, not to mention Champions League finalists the previous year, and now they've slipped all the way down to 14th. What is going wrong at Tottenham? What is their problem?
I'll tell you, I know the problem. The problem is they're a team that has hit the end of the cycle, and throughout in all the sports, I mean, a great team, it's a cycle, maybe 4 or 5 seasons, where they're at the top, they challenge, and they win or they come short. But at the end of that, usually they fall off and they fall kind of hard.
Players start leaving and shit.
Players leave. Well, here's the thing. What's interesting with them is they haven't left Spurs, but they're still all there, the core players. But I think it's just I don't think it has anything to do with Pochettino. I don't think it has anything to do with the players are still talented. That entire 11, maybe not the entire 11, but like at least 8, 9 of those players would almost start in every team.
Yeah, they
Harry
got
Kane would play
talent.
in most. Heung-min Son would play and start in almost every team. Eriksson, uh, Ndombele, everybody wanted him. Um, Figure who else?
Vertonghen.
Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Lloris.
Lloris,
Danny Rose is good. He played for most of the Premier League. Um,
Aurier.
yeah, so they just can't. Eric Dyer has fallen off pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was touted as this next great holding midfielder, and you don't really hear much about him. I don't know if he's had some injuries or what, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Got
But
replaced by Harry Winks, I think.
well, Harry Winks isn't even all that bad either. I don't think. But it's just one of these things where I think they've hit the end of their cycle. I'm sure you guys have heard the rumors about what happened with like Ericsson and stuff, where this is kind of where the fallout apparently some people were saying, and I don't know how true it is, but they were saying that Vertonghen had slept with Ericsson's wife, and that's what started kind of the fallout in the locker room.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So it's like, I mean, if that's true, I get it.
I
Then
mean,
I get-
another
and- and-
John Terry incident right there. Center
and
backs
then-
are notorious for stealing wives, apparently.
Yeah, and then apparently Harry Kane like punched Vertonghen in the face over it. So yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I kind of wanted to bring to the conversation, and I just to wrap up my thoughts on it, I just think it's a team that's the end of their cycle, and I don't think either Pochettino's got to go or they got to reshuffle the players. But I think Pochettino will end up taking the fall for those players, and I think he'll find another job instantly and
I mean,
be successful.
do
He's
you
great
feel
at
as
building teams.
if Tottenham have realized their full potential? I mean, they had back-to-back seasons where they were second place and they came up so short to winning the Premier League. Do you feel like they've just given up on that realization of winning the Premier League? Do you
Yeah.
think that they've just
I-
lost hope in some
Yeah,
ways?
I think so. I think what happened is, I think they shifted their focus. So before it was the Premier League trying to do as well as they could in that kind of went to shit. Didn't know really where to turn. The year they should have won it was the year Leicester won it. Honestly, couldn't get the job done. But a great season by Leicester, won't take anything away from them. But they just kept coming up short. Then they focused the Champions League. And that was evident last season. That's what they were doing. And they made it to the final. And, you think sometimes in a final, a big moment, form kind of goes out the window. And didn't get it done against Liverpool, unfortunately. And I think that was it. It's just, that's so deflating. For a team that's already had those deflating moments so many times in the Premier League, finishing second and coming up short, then to have that happen, I mean, I know myself, then I would really doubt the team. I'd be like, well, it just isn't meant to be with us. And then you had people like Ericsson that wanted to leave, and then they won't let him go, and it's just, I think Alderweireld thought he was going to go too because people could have signed him for $25 million and nobody did.
That surprised me. And nobody bought him. That's so cheap.
And fuck, I mean, Logan and I are Manchester United fans, and I would preferred us to sign Alderweireld for $25 million over spending $80 on Harry Maguire. Any day of the week. I know he's older than Maguire, but I just think that we could have got more bang for our buck around the league instead of Harry Maguire. We went for the English option, somewhat a little bit younger, and man, Leicester, I don't want to. They ripped us off. They fucking ripped us off, and I knew it was coming. But I know if anybody were to listen to this from England, and that's a United fan, they'd call Logan and I fake, not real United fans. But I think we have a different perspective on it. We don't give a shit about people being English. We just care about it. But we don't. I don't give a fuck about it.
That's a
Put
fact.
a whole team of fucking anybody. It's just as long as they're the best players that we can put on the field and win. I don't give a fuck where they're from. I really don't.
So on that note, let's transition over to United. I know that we've switched our scouting options to include a lot of homegrown English talent, which is frankly a bunch of fucking bullshit. As long as I have the ideology of if you're fucking good enough to play, who the fuck cares where the hell you're from? What does your nationality have to do with anything regarding your talent, your price point, or anything? Just bring in some quality signings. Like,
So
what is actually wrong with you?
I think when it comes to United, I think when I look at our let's start this story back. Let's start it back to last year. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's just start last year. Fire Mourinho seemed like the lowest point that we'd had since Ferguson left. Get rid of Mourinho, and nobody complained. You know, it was the right thing to do. But he was ultimately right about a lot of things. The players, I think, just threw him under the bus. And it was evident that when the players were motivated, they could beat anybody. And the run that we had, the record-breaking run after Mourinho left, under Solskjaer at first, was incredible, and I don't think it had much to do with Solskjaer or anybody. I think it was just the players just deciding, you know what, fuck it, we got to prove that, Mourinho's gone. We got to prove ourselves now, and we beat everybody. Miracle to get through PSG, and which was when Rashford put away that penalty, one of the best moments. And then it kind of all fell apart after that. I feel like that was a cup final for United. After that, they kind of just really lost focus. And ever since then, recently, and it's been only about 3 weeks, but we hadn't won an away game since last March, the beginning of last March, until the end of October. So
yeah, at least a stretch of over 100. I think it was over 200 days.
Yeah, so think about that, how bad that is. To the point where it was historically bad. We've had the worst start to a season ever that we've had in, I think, 33 years. And then another thought to this is, too, when I heard Solskjaer last year, at the end of the season, say, you'd be surprised by the talented players that want to come to United. Where the fuck are they? Because if that's the case and we landed on fucking Harry Maguire for 80 million, that's a problem. If it's, Daniel James, he's played good, but you know what? He's playing good right now, but if we're talking about a United team that wants to get back to the top, he's not good enough. He wouldn't have played in any United team that Ferguson had, and that's just the fact. He'd have been a squad player, sure, because he brings something different, but not a starter. And I think Solskjaer's kind of just turning into this. I don't know if I want to say a yes man for the Glazers, but he's when we first came in, he just always said what the fans wanted to hear, and it was nice because Mourinho always belittled United. But now it's just like, God, give it a fucking rest. Like, you say you're quietly confident in the team, like, shut up. How? How do you think that? United have played better recently, but I think one thing should be noted with that. Apparently, Mike Phelan, who's the assistant coach, had been doing other things. I think trying to work on as almost like trying to be a director of football for us. Where for a long stretch he wasn't on the sidelines and kind of had been our worst run. Now that he's kind of been back down there and involved, has been the turnaround. And then one little thing, and I'm going to finish up on this because I've been leaning towards Solskjaer out, but I think our run last season, I know I said didn't have to do a lot with the managers, but I think if any manager probably had the most influence would have been Phelan, but probably had been Kieran McKenna, because I think the way he played with our academy before he got promoted was very attacking, and kind of you could see that in the way we first started playing after Mourinho left. And then I think we had an excellent run, just kind of every week it was probably like, just keep doing more of the same, more of the same. And then after the PSG game, when we played Arsenal, it didn't work. That's when things, okay, we got to start changing a little bit. Then Solskjaer gets the job. Then it's okay. We're going to transition to what I want to do now. That's where the turn in form happened. I think it's as he took more responsibility and more control is when it showed his inexperience that he's not worthy of the job. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just my feeling, and that's where I'm going to leave it there. I know I've been talking for a while, but I get irritated about it.
Yeah, I'm sure we could talk about this all night, or probably for a stretch of a couple days if we had the energy to. But I guess at some point we'll start being a dead horse, and it doesn't look like any change is coming anytime
Well,
soon.
I'll tell you what. Arsenal are in no better of a situation right now than United.
Well, then let's have you talk a little bit about Arsenal's situation right now, Trey.
I can go on and on, but I'm gonna keep it short and simple. 2 words: we suck. It's that simple.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Emery out.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that too.
I mean, do you want to highlight some of the problems that you guys have right now?
I was thinking about it all day. It's been on my mind, and I mean, it's just like we have the players. Obviously we have the players. We have one of the best strikers at the moment with Aubameyang, and Nicolas Pepe is coming over from France, and I think he's created. He's probably created the most chances. I saw a stat where he's created the most chances out of everybody on the team, and I don't know why we can't win. The defense is a problem with the 2 center backs. Socrates is hit or miss, and David Luiz just flat out sucks. And we're at the point where we look at things, and you look at the team, and it's almost like, what do we need other than defenders? Like, what do you need? We have Torreira, who Emery plays as a number 10. Don't know why he does that. We have Ozil, who he just doesn't play at all. He's been playing for the past couple of weeks. Pepe, he's been benched for Bukayo Saka for God knows why. Kieran Tierney, who we bought, the left back that was supposed to replace Kolasinac, who is horrible. He doesn't play. Bellerin's coming back off an injury, so yeah, it's going to take him some time to get settled back in. But the pieces are there. Everything's just falling on the manager, and that's why people are saying Emery out, because you got the players. You got the players.
If you would have started off your rant by saying good evening, that would have been fitting.
That really would have been fitting.
Good evening.
Well, then here's the talking point for us then. Who has a closer light at the end of the tunnel? Is it Arsenal or is it United?
I want to say shut up, Ben. Anyway, I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna go ahead and just say Arsenal, but that's only because of the fact that we have a manager that has actually won something.
Yeah.
And we did make a European final last year with a team that isn't better than what we have now. So I don't want to push Emery out the window just yet, because I do still have a little bit of hope. We'll have to see how this weekend goes with Southampton. I don't know. There's something missing with the team, and I don't know what it was. Because this is the same dude that led the team to like 20-something unbeaten games last year. And
Sevilla to 3 Europa League.
Yeah, 3 straight Europa League.
And what I was going to say about Arsenal too, they do have the reason I think they can get out of this, because with Arsenal, you look at the team, and especially the forwards, where it's like, if they get some form, they can really put a run together, because they have great strikers, and that's what wins you a game, is having that difference maker. So I feel like for them, where United are so inconsistent just everywhere on the field, not as much of defense, but midfield terrible, forward line without Martial is terrible. And I think that's the only reason United have started to win games again, is because Martial's back. Everybody, wants to say Rashford's our best player, or going to be our star, but it's Martial, and people need to really open their eyes and see the difference he really makes. But that's the thing. What I was going to say about Arsenal is they have Aubameyang, Lacazette, great talent. Pepe, same. I know he hasn't put it together yet, but he is a good player. They have it. So it seems easy to me. Like I don't like when I see the results. It's kind of like how I feel about Spurs a little bit. I'm like, how the fuck are they doing this? How the fuck are they losing this easily? That's what I don't understand when I see the results.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
David Luiz.
He's I just don't.
Yeah, I'm so
I
glad we.
as a person who's seen, I think I've only missed out on maybe 1 or 2 Arsenal games this year due to the fact that I had to work. But from what I've seen, from the games that I've seen, I can tell you this: I don't think we've kept two things. I don't think we've kept the same formation for 2 weeks straight, or the same lineup. And I have a problem with that because 1 week we play Xhaka, Guendouzi, and Ceballos in the midfield, and then we'll have Ozil, Torreira, and Joe Willock the next. And it's just like, why can't you just put the best players in and let them play?
You know what's funny about that is United are the complete opposite. All up until like recently, we have played a 4-2-3-1 every fucking game with some players that have no business being near the first team. Where like Solskjaer is the opposite. He doesn't change things up too much. He just never fucking changes a thing and just expects it to fucking change. Ashley Young isn't good enough.
Retire all fucking ready, please.
Yeah, he's not. I saw some rumors that he might retire at the end of the season. And
our beloved club captain for the season. Jesus Christ. Fuck me.
Same armband Roy Keane put on. Same armband Vidic put on. The same one
Rooney put on.
Rooney. I mean, it's just the list goes on, but still, it's I think Arsenal do, but I guess. Well, Ben, now's your time to rave about your fucking Chelsea, who, by the way, can't fucking beat United, so suck it.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I was kind of worried.
Wait.
New coach comes in, young players get destroyed by United for nothing.
Hold on, Ben. Before you go on, what do you have to complain about? You guys are top 4 right now.
Nothing. I was just gonna.
Yeah, discuss about how elated you are with your.
There's honestly nothing but positivity that you.
I mean, I'm all positive.
I was about to say
the only negative is the transfer ban in January. Still,
I think that was actually now this has turned out to be a fucking blessing in disguise.
No shit, that's a fucking godsend.
Half of Europe loaned out, so now you get to fucking try everybody out.
Chelsea linked with like another striker, or I saw somewhere where they were linked with like another striker. I can't think of the name. I can't think of who it was, but he was linked with a striker.
Werner, but
no, you should get on your knees and fucking grovel at the feet of Tammy Abraham and his fucking.
I'm in love with him. I mean, he comes
Pulisic.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's finding their form right now. All this, they have that youth, and we had a great youth academy, and now it's finally a chance for them to play. All these years of having a great youth team, none of them ever make first team, loaned out forever and ever and ever. Then
I mean, yeah.
And then all this, and you guys still have Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's
playing.
Tamori is doing very well this season.
I thought it was going to be trouble when Rudiger kept getting hurt, and Tamori stepped in there playing amazing.
So in a nutshell, you guys are you can't complain about anything.
Exceeding my expectations right now.
It must be nice to say that, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe Chelsea have found a new way through their academy.
It's
instead of getting rid of Kevin De Bruyne and getting rid of Salah and getting rid of Lukaku.
Yes.
Well,
I forgot what winning feels like.
Feels good.
Well, except for
when they play United.
Yeah. I mean, shockingly, you guys lost 4-0 to us, and then an absolute
Rashford free kick.
Hey, at least you guys, Brady. At least you guys beat a. No, I should be telling Ben this. At least you guys lost to a team that has some experience. We lost to a bunch of 16-year-olds.
Well, to be fair,
with our first team.
It's kind of funny. United have almost won no games this year, and we've beaten Leicester and Chelsea somehow. Yeah. But we lose to Newcastle and
we drew to Liverpool.
And we drew to Liverpool. So far, the top 4 has been good to us, but I think it's more of people just not playing right. If you want to beat United, sit back and play us on a counter. You will fuck us up.
Well, we couldn't do that. Big
You
Sauce
guys,
was out there scoring bangers.
The 2 games we played against United, we just didn't look like our normal selves.
yeah, the first game it was like
The beginning was okay, and then it just
that game would have been very different if you guys hit the post twice, where I know it didn't happen, so you can't harp on it too much. But if those were 2 goals, well, at least one of them was a goal. Going into halftime, that would have been completely different you know, instead of that. Um, but yeah, it's nice to see your academy players playing.
Tough
You know, I-
times out here.
Yeah,
I mean, now they're getting chances with the first team. I mean, Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount had their first senior goals over this international break. So coming back to Chelsea with some momentum and confidence.
Tammy Abraham, the wristband wanderer.
let me ask you guys this: if United were to get, because there's been a rumor lately of United getting the Saudi owners, and I have an opinion. I'm going to kind of announce to the world that I think a lot of people don't realize, but um, would you guys be afraid if United got the new owners that are kind of in the same mold as City, where they're just going to fucking invest into the team like crazy?
Yes, absolutely. Because
100%.
Arsenal had a 45 million transfer budget, which you guys blew on. You guys pretty much doubled that on one player. So I mean, of course, I'm gonna be scared.
All right. Now, with this point I'm about to make with this, now, believe it or not, I never really comment on YouTube videos, but on Stephen Howson, who's a United fan channel, Stretford Paddock, who's a United fan channel, and Full Time Devils, I've left the same comment, and fucking nobody has ever mentioned it when they talk about the owners. One thing people don't realize is, now, the ICC is the International Criminal Court. If the Saudi prince, because it's the government, would be buying United, if he is formally charged on crimes against humanity, or anything like that, I'm pretty sure he is not allowed to invest money, or the Saudis are allowed to invest money in the American market. Now, Manchester United is they are on the New York Stock Exchange. So that would mean to buy United, he has to buy the shares. He can't do that if he's formally charged. So I've been trying to tell people that it probably won't happen, because I doubt there's going to be a lot of issues with somebody like that investing heavily, billions of dollars in the American economy. I don't know if they'd let that happen. Now, I I don't know. That's my thing. He wouldn't be allowed to invest. I don't know. I'm kind of tied between whether or not I would be okay. If they were to buy the team, if they're able to buy the team, morally.
So, I mean, they would still have to find him
issues.
guilty first, right?
No, I think even if he's charged, while he's charged, he wouldn't, even if it was found guilty or not. But yeah, I don't know. But morally, if he was allowed to, I don't know how I'd feel. Part of me feels like, I mean, I can't stop it. Even if I don't agree with it, there's nothing I can do about it. So why would I really get worked up over
when he buys the club and he brings in Mbappe, I bet you're gonna be livid. You're gonna have an Mbappe jersey in your closet 2 days later.
when I have the Mbappe jersey, and Mbappe and whoever else is the best player in the world at that point. But yeah,
honestly, I see no problem with it as long as he's not formally charged and he can buy the club. I would rather have somebody investing in a team that they. I mean, I would hope he would care about it. But like, if you're investing, obviously you care about it. I'd rather have somebody like that as opposed to the Glazers who have
Or Stan
constantly.
Kroenke.
Yeah, who
well,
has constantly siphoned money away from the club when when they first took hold of Manchester United, we were not in debt. When they took hold of United, we became 500 million pounds in debt. And since then, for the 14-year stint that they have owned us, we have only dwindled that down to $328 million in debt. Now, the reason Ed Woodward says that we are in debt is because we're heavily invested into buying players on the market. But even at the current form that we are in, each part of the Glazer family that owns United is still getting the half of their commission, which is 17 million, paid to them still in the current form that we're in right now. And they are continually siphoning money away
well,
from the club, which is fucking outrageous to me.
well, the one thing is too with it is, it doesn't make sense how we're that much in debt when we set records for revenue. Every season we set a new record for revenue. So when they come out and say we're still in debt and it's still the summer, how the fuck is that possible? What the fuck are y'all doing? What kind of credit do you have? Like,
Well, it
Jesus Christ,
happened earlier on in the
these are
year that they leveraged United in a loan.
Well, I'll tell you this: you just have to look at them and see the other teams they own. Well, I think they own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who is they are a franchise that has been floundering ever since they won a Super Bowl in 2001. Or 2000? Was it 2000?
Some or other, early 2000s.
Early 2000s, very early 2000s, when they last won a Super Bowl. They've been floundering ever since then, and they don't have any sign of really, NFL is a little different. You have salary cap and all that kind of shit. So I mean, it's kind of limited to what you can really do to drastically improve it just overnight. But they, as long as they're making money, I don't really think they care, and that's a problem. I mean, ideally, you want somebody that's a fan of your club that owns your club and is willing to just, put it all on the line just to see you guys win. But they're just there to make money. That's it. That's the bottom line for it. I would love to see them gone. I'd love to get a ESPN notification announcing the sale. This would probably be the time for them to sell, especially when we're, seemingly going downhill and coming off a record, revenue year. It would seem like while the stock is still high, get rid of them while you can. That's kind of my advice from a business standpoint to them. But just leave, please.
Yes,
leave
please
us
fucking
alone.
leave. Bring us somebody who actually cares about the club. We need to see some drastic change. Majority of it is structurally, and that has a big part to do with the Blazers.
Well, and when you have every manager that's after Louis Van Gaal, terrible things to say about the United board and Ed Woodward. The same for Mourinho. Well, he's been kind of quiet, but just give him time. He'll start to let it out. I mean, it's pretty fresh. It's not even been a year since he got fired. Ander Herrera recently at PSG saying that the club just isn't run like a football club, and saying that their priorities are wrong, which I agree. You re-signed fucking Phil Jones before Ander Herrera, who was our second best midfielder by a fucking mile. So, re-sign people like him, and I know Lukaku wanted to go. Looking back at it, it's probably a bad idea to let even Sanchez go. He he's hurt, but if he didn't get hurt, we were at a point this year where, he would have played. He probably would still play in the team right now. Even with his bad form. Play him at the number 10. Could he do worse than? And I've been a fan. Of Andreas Pereira over the years and when he was an academy player, but I don't think he's gonna be elite level. But I don't think Alexis Sanchez could have done any worse than him. And Angel Gomez doesn't even get a chance, and I think he's getting ready to be out the door just like Tahith Chong, because he's so irritated over the lack of playing time. Solskjaer says he's going to play the youth, but he didn't play fucking any of them. He hardly does. It's like, what the fuck is the holdup? We've been near within 5 points of relegation off since the beginning of the season. What the fuck does it matter now?
Well,
You
I'd like
know?
to bring up 2 points. Well, one is very insignificant. I saw that Tahith Chong had liked a Twitter post made by one United fan saying that they didn't see the point in keeping him and that he would probably be better off at a team like FC Genk, which are from the Belgium league. And Tahith Chong had liked that post. So obviously he's showing his frustrations as well. And another thing that has come to light recently is apparently Solskjaer knew that Lukaku wanted to leave before the summer came and vied for him to get a transfer elsewhere. Why wouldn't you, after selling him or already knowing that you plan on selling him, why wouldn't you bring in another top class forward? Why would
Well,
you
all,
put
for
faith
what we
in
know,
like
for what we know, he could have tried, and the board could have said no. We don't. That's part of the problem. It's a lot of speculation. Nobody really knows. Mourinho would have, fucking been, Mourinho would have gone crazy over some of this shit. Like, you're
I mean,
gonna sell our.
he's
Yeah,
gone
he
crazy
did
over
the
not
year
getting
before.
center backs.
The year before, and that's ultimately what started it all. After he got, it looked like it was going up. We won a Europa League, and the next year he finished second, and then hopefully get some pieces, and it all goes together. But then it falls apart because he doesn't get what he wants and what we needed. Yeah, but we'll see. Anyway, we can move on from United.
All right. Are there any more talking points that anybody would like to bring up before we go into our predictions?
Emery out.
About you, Ben? Fat Frank in?
Yeah, he's in for good.
All right. Well, then I will switch it over to the prediction portion of our podcast to wrap everything up. We're going to go through all 10 games for the Premier League, and then we'll go over some key matchups in the other top 5 leagues as well. So we'll start off with the 7:30 kickoff on Saturday, West Ham versus Spurs. What do you guys think?
I as bad as Spurs is playing, I want my mind wants to go ahead and pick West Ham, but I'm gonna go ahead for Spurs. I think they find their groove this week.
And what score would you like to go for that?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it 2-1 Spurs. I like 2-1
That's
Spurs.
what I was gonna say.
I
Yeah, I'm
like
going
2-1
Spurs 2-1.
All right, Brady.
Every week I feel like Spurs are gonna get it together.
That's what I was also saying too.
Like
I was like, I don't know, Spurs. I don't know.
I
And
am
then
gonna
I check
go
wake up, check
with.
the score, and they're losing. So,
Oh man, it's at West Ham.
I'm gonna stick.
I'm
with
going.
Spurs.
You know what? I'm going to 1-1 draw.
All right. And I will go for a 2-1 victory to West Ham.
Nah,
You're keeping
fuck
record
it.
of this, right?
Spurs are getting it back together. 4-1 Spurs.
You're keeping record of this, right, Logan?
Yep. So 4-1 Spurs for Brady. I'm going to go for a 2-1 to West Ham. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 for Spurs.
Yeah, 2-1
2-1.
Spurs. Yeah.
2-1 to Spurs. All right. So we got Trey for 2-1 for Spurs, Ben 2-1 for Spurs, Brady 4-1 for Spurs, and I'm going for 2-1 to West Ham. All right, that brings up the 10 o'clock kickoffs. First one is Bournemouth versus Wolves.
Ooh, that one's kind of a tough one because I
Yeah.
like Bournemouth, but I think as Wolves have been playing, I'm gonna go 2-2 draw. No, 1-1 draw. I'm gonna go 1-1
right.
draw.
1-1 draw to Trey.
Trey's reading my mind over here.
What about you, Ben? You gonna get 1-1?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Wolves then.
Because
All right,
I don't know, because it's just like every single time Wolves play like a top tier team, it's like they get to this level that I didn't even know that they could get to, and then when they play middle tier teams like Bournemouth, it's just like,
Well, technically they're level on points right now.
well, I mean, like I said, it's just like Wolves find that second gear when they play teams like obviously fucking Arsenal, but like City and shit like that. I don't know. I like 1-1 draw. I like that though.
All right, Brady, what are you feeling?
What you got? What you got?
I'm gonna go with a 2-1 win for Bournemouth.
All right.
Home team. Gonna get
I'm
it
going to
done.
go 1-0 to Wolves. All right, the next 10 o'clock kickoff is Brighton versus, or no, sorry, that is Arsenal versus Southampton.
1-1 draw.
Very good faith put in your team, Trey.
suck.
This
I said it
easy.
earlier,
This
bro.
is gonna be a. I'm gonna
Brady,
say
you have
4
said this.
4-2
Oh my
for the
god.
Gunners.
Who's scoring 4 goals for us?
Aubameyang is gonna have
Scoring
2.
4 goals.
Lacazette's gonna have 1,
No.
and then Ozil's gonna get 1.
That's if Ozil is even in the squad.
Trey, what did you say again?
I'm gonna go with a 2-0 Arsenal win.
All right, putting some
Confidence.
faith restored right
I'm gonna
there.
go ahead and change because I mean it's Southampton. If we lose to Southampton, he's got to go. 30 minutes after the game, don't even give him an interview. Just get him out.
I'll tell you that Southampton are 19th in the Premier League with a 2-2-8 record and negative 18 goal difference.
Yeah,
So
bro.
have some faith,
We drew to
buddy.
Watford, so I mean
That's fair enough. All right, Ben, what are you feeling? Arsenal versus Southampton.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1 for Arsenal.
All right. And I'm going to give a nice little 2-1 victory to Arsenal. Feeling a little confident for you, buddy.
I don't know. Arsenal and clean sheets don't match up. Can I change my score? I might go with 3-1.
All right, we will change that to an official 3-1 scoreline for Trey.
Yeah, that's my last change. I'm not changing it. No, I'm set 3-1.
All right, the next matchup is Brighton versus Leicester City. How's everybody feeling?
3-0 Leicester.
All right.
0 Leicester.
What about you, Benny boy?
I'm gonna go 2-0 for Leicester.
2-0. I like that.
Leicester's been riding high, but they're gonna have a 1-1 draw.
Oh,
Ooh.
Brady's
There you
hitting
go.
some hot takes right now.
I'm actually going to be super confident for Leicester. I'm going to give them a 5-1 scoreline over Brighton.
That's pretty
Ooh.
confident.
Here is a very easy matchup for Liverpool. Actually, record shows that this is not so easy for them. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace.
Let me go with this very
Is
quick.
Crystal Palace home?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I remember in 2014 when Liverpool were running away with the league, Suarez was unstoppable. And I remember one team was up 3-1 in the game. And they blew it, which ended up killing their title hopes. They're going to have another bump in the road. Going to add some drama to the league. Crystal Palace is going to get a 1-0 win.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't know, bro. That's
bold right there.
That's gonna make me scratch my head a little bit. I'm not too sure about that.
All right, anybody
Is
else hot
Salah
takes?
Is Salah gonna be out for the week? Or
Yeah, I think he's
okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. All right. Ben, what about you, buddy?
I'm going with a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
My God.
I was actually going to go for a 1-1 scoreline against Crystal Palace.
Is it a hot masterclass? Is that what you guys are thinking?
Turning Virgil van Dijk inside. You know what he's going to do, actually? He's going to expose Trent. He's going to expose Trent for being overrated at actually defending.
Oof.
That's what he's going to do.
If I've
seen Rashford do it to him before, then
That's true.
Zaha can do it.
He most certainly can. All right, we'll move on to the next game. This is also a 10 o'clock kickoff. Everton versus Norwich.
Oof. I don't know. That's kind of because every single time I've seen Norwich play, they have this attacking style that I actually enjoy watching them play. I don't know.
Cookie's dropped off though.
He scored 2 for on international duty on one of his
just
games.
recently.
So, but
And
you know,
Norwich are also number
they're
20.
relegation zone.
Yes, they're
You
in
know what's weird
last.
about them is like they actually, when you sit down and watch them play a game, they play nice.
Yeah.
The problem is they actually just don't have the quality of players to match their style, if that makes
Very
sense.
true.
You know what I mean? Like Pookie has been overachieving for the team, and they just have. I think if they had some quality players, I think they would be one hell
Yeah.
of a team,
We
and
did
especially if they finish their chances.
we did
Because
see it against Liverpool week
Yep.
1.
Yes, we
First
did.
game of the season, that game should have been a lot different than it was. But at the same time, Everton's one of those teams too where like I wait for them to put it together because they actually have a pretty good team as well.
I heard Iwobi was
Yeah.
playing good as a number 10.
They got him, Richarlison,
Theo
Walcott. I mean, they have Keane in defense, who I think is actually a pretty good defender. Yerry Mina.
He's been doing pretty well. They got
So
Digne.
Schmeichel as well.
yes, Digne. Yes, Digne is really good.
Digne is very vital in their fucking side.
So I mean, like, I feel like they should be. They're playing at home. Ugh.
I don't
You know
know.
what?
I'm gonna go Everton. Everton 1-0 Everton.
All right.
Sigurdsson too. Sigurdsson's really good.
I'm gonna go 3-1 for Everton. I think they're gonna rip apart Norwich on counterattacks.
Ben, what about you?
I'm gonna go with 2-1 Everton.
All right. I will also go 2-1 to Everton. This brings up our, I believe, final 10 o'clock kickoff. Yes, it is Watford versus Burnley.
The barn.
Interesting.
0-0.
Okay.
That's
There has to be some nil-nils.
Oh man, that's so tough for me to like pick this one. I don't know because Delafeu, I feel like he's that.
Are they still without a win yet?
Who?
Watford.
Watford has one win. They are
they
1,
won.
5,
They
and
won.
6.
The last Friday, not this past Friday, but 2 weeks ago, they won.
And Burnley is 4, 3, and 5. They are 10th on the table.
See, Burnley's just that fucking team. They like just fucking.
They just play that defense.
Oh, it's just when you play Burnley, it's like. You just fucking sigh because you're like, we're playing the team that, I don't know. You can't get excited to play a team that has the same uniform as another Premier League team. So,
That's true.
but Watford, I feel like Delafeu is the X factor in this game, alongside with the fact that Watford are actually terrible. It's weird. They do have some good players in their team. I don't.
I'm
gonna go with the
I'm
Watford
sick
win.
with
I think
0-0.
I'm gonna say Watford 1-0.
All right.
I'm gonna go Burnley 1-0.
Interesting. I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Burnley. I feel like Ashley Barnes always comes out of nowhere with a couple goals, and I think Watford can pick up a goal through either Andre Gray or Delafeu. Let's see. Let's bring it back to the kickoffs. There is, probably the most interesting game this weekend will be Manchester City versus Chelsea.
Yeah.
3rd and 4th spots respectively. Who's going to come out on top?
See, that's tough for me because, I feel like Manchester City and Liverpool they're way ahead of the pack, but I don't know.
Man City's actually in 4th right now, so
okay, yeah, but regardless of where the points stand, I mean,
They're the second. They're first
they're
or
in
second best.
They're in a slump right now, so I think they get out of this slump and I think they batter Chelsea 3-0. I mean, I think Chelsea's inexperience is going to come back, and I don't think the youth is going to be able to keep up with City's quality. So I'm gonna go ahead 3-0 City.
All right, Ben, how are you feeling about your team?
I'm gonna give us a
Your way.
2-1. Oh shit, that changes everything.
Yeah, I'm sick of it.
Uh,
Hey Ben, it's okay to go against your team, bro. I mean, if it was Arsenal
I've
versus
been
City,
there.
I'm giving City
Nah,
5-0 Arsenal.
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. All right.
I have a feeling with this. I feel like City, when I was talking about Spurs before about when they shift their focus, I feel like City kind of have shifted their focus to the Champions League and are go all in with that. I feel like they're just gonna. I think after losing to Liverpool, I think that the Premier League is gonna be like gonna take a back seat for them, and they're kind of gonna just coast through it. But a big game, I think they're gonna. I don't think Guardiola will let them, roll over completely. I think they're gonna win 4-1.
4-1.
I'm
All right.
going. I'm going with a bit. They need it, Ben. They need a bounce back game, bro. They need.
And you
They
don't,
need one
yeah,
of
you
those
don't want to
games.
be that. This is the worst time to play them is after something like that.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, what happened? City, they lost one week, and then they came out against who was it? Against Watford and scored like.
7 goals.
I mean, it was something like that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really exciting game. I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored, a lot of errors, especially defensively. I'm going to go with a 4-3 win to City.
I think. Well, yeah, and I tell you this: when we get to January and we have episode for transfers, I would tell everybody to be on the lookout for City investing in some defenders because I tell you what, if they were to get somebody like a Koulibaly, I think everybody might just want to start putting their name on the trophy, on any trophy. So I think that's their biggest weakness, and I think if they improve on that, then they can do
It's
whatever
kind
they
of crazy to
want.
think they have How Cancelo on the bench too. I
And
mean, that's
I've seen them play at left back, and it pisses me off. You can't take the best player from fucking Serie A and have him as a bench warmer and play him out of position. That's just not fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big, highly contested game. City are going to come out fierce. I think Chelsea is going to give them a good fucking run for their money, to be honest. I definitely
yeah.
see
I
Abraham
know. I know
race.
Chelsea. I know Chelsea's flying high right now, but like I said, I think that City's got something to. City's got a. They're gonna make a statement and say that we're there's a reason why we're defending champions. So
Yeah, all right. So that is it for the Saturday kickoffs. We'll switch it over to the Sunday kickoff at 11:30. It is Sheffield United versus Manchester United.
oh shit, Sheffield. They're good too. So
Sheffield are fifth on the table right now. They do have the most clean sheets in the league, thanks to Dean Henderson.
I don't want to I don't want to go. Wait, is it home or away for United?
Sheffield is home.
Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to say United's gonna. Fuck it. Sheffield 2-1.
All right.
I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. That's very respectable.
I think this is tough. I don't know how to. United have been playing better since Martial's come back. Sheffield can play with some real intensity that I don't think United will be able to match. And I think it depends, if you know what, it's gonna be 3-1 for Sheffield.
Oof.
I'm
gonna place some faith in our recent form. I think we're gonna scrape by with a 2-1 victory against Sheffield. I want to place a little bit of belief in us, and I think Rashford's gonna dive in the box, and we're gonna get a lucky penalty.
Dan James, you mean?
James, either or. All right, so that is the only game on Sunday. The final game of the Premier League for this weekend will be on Monday, and that is at 3 o'clock. This is all Eastern Standard Time. I failed to mention that before. These are all Eastern Standard Time kickoff times. And the final one for this weekend is Aston Villa versus Newcastle.
Newcastle's been playing pretty good too.
This just fucking screams fucking 1-1 to
Yeah,
me.
that's just that you saying those two teams is like it's boring. I mean, I'm gonna go. We've already had a 0-0. I'm gonna go with the 2-2. I like
All
2-2.
right. 2-2 sounds good. What about you, Ben?
I'm gonna go 1-1.
All right. I'm going to go for my first 0-0 prediction for the weekend.
Sam
And
Maximin with a brace.
All
this is
draws.
this is going to be that for the Premier League. We have some other notable games
Gucci
on the week.
headband, black gloves, masterclass.
Which league would you guys want to start off with in the top 5 leagues?
Let's go with Bundesliga.
All right. So for the Bundesliga, we're going to be looking at Dortmund and Bayern, respectively. There's no. We could also. Do you guys want to add Leipzig in there as well,
No.
or do you guys like Dortmund and Bayern?
Dortmund and Bayern are fine right
Yeah,
now.
Dortmund, Bayern, they're good.
Okay, so on Friday for a 2:30 p.m. kickoff, it is Dortmund versus Paderborn.
Dortmund.
Which,
Yeah, Dortmund, obviously.
to give some context, Paderborn, if my table will load, is currently 18th. They are last in the Bundesliga.
8-0 Dortmund.
No, I'm gonna say like 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-0.
All right,
I'm
one
sticking
second.
with
Let me
8-0.
write this down real
Mark
quick.
my words. When Dortmund score 8 or more, I don't want you guys calling me a fucking genius.
So Trey, you're going for an astounding 8-0
I'm
victory.
being so dead ass. 8-0.
Okay, Ben, what is your score line again?
It's gonna be 3-0.
3-0. Brady,
3-1.
3-1 against Paderborn. I will say 4-1 against Paderborn. Then we have Bayern playing FC Dusseldorf. Dusseldorf has 3 wins out of their last 5. Bayern has 4. They're playing at 9:30 a.m. on a Saturday. So let's write in Bayern versus Dusseldorf. And what are your guys' score predictions for this game?
5-1 for Bayern. They fired their manager. They're not fucking around anymore.
4-0. 4-0.
They came out after they fired their manager, smacked up Dortmund. They're not fucking around now. They're not gonna fuck up, because if so, their German hierarchy will send them to some kind of camp that we know historically isn't
Jesus
kind
Christ.
to people. So they have a lot on the line.
All right, so we got a 5-1 score line for Brady. Trey, you've got a 4-0 score line. What about Ben?
Going 5-0.
5-0. That's very respectable. I'm going to go and agree with Trey and say 4-0. So that'll bring us. Let's just get League One out of the way. We have really only PSG, unless you guys want to add the likes of Lyon.
No, just PSG. Honestly,
Just
it's not
PSG.
even it's a one team league.
We don't even need to cover it. PSG
Yeah.
win.
Yeah,
PSG
PSG
versus
gonna win.
Lille.
PSG's gonna win.
Yeah,
Mbappe with a hat trick. Enough said. Don't even.
All right, what are the score lines? PSG versus Lille.
27-1 PSG.
Probably 4-1 PSG.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
say
gonna go
4-1.
4-0. 4-0 PSG.
4-0 for PSG.
I'll just go 3-0.
You'll go 3-0. I'll go 4-2. I'll give Lille a little bit of credit there. All right. Well, that's the only thing for League One, because Farmers League and all that. As you do. Serie A, we'll focus on Juventus and Inter Milan. They're the top 2 teams currently in the Serie A. So Juventus have a 9 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. It'll be Juventus versus Atalanta.
Juventus are probably going to win that. They don't score a lot of goals, though, so I'm going to say it's either going to be probably a 1-0, 2-1. Juventus.
What did you say, Trey?
I'm gonna go with 2-0 Ronaldo brace.
2-0. Brady, you want to finalize your guess?
I'm gonna go 1-0. I think it's gonna be a late goal, kind of a scrappy game.
Yeah. I'll go 2-0.
All right. And I'm going to go for a 1-0 in agreement with Brady. All right, so the next game we have is Inter Milan versus Torino. It's a 2:45 p.m. kickoff on Saturday as well. How are you guys feeling there? Inter Milan versus Torino.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0, very easy. 2-0 for you as well, Trey.
I'll go 3-0.
3-0. I'm gonna I'll be side with my big boy Rom. I'll say he bags a brace in a 2-0 victory.
You know,
So
Conte's
that's
really turned them around, though. I'll tell you that. He's come in there and he's done some great stuff. I mean, cherry picking players off of United was a great move. Um, they find a way. If you watch them, I've watched them play a couple times in Champions League. I've watched a few Serie A games with them. They always find a way to win. Because Conte doesn't let his teams give up either. So I'm. What's the table look like in Italy right now? How because I'm curious, how close are they in Juventus? What's the point difference between the two?
They have a 1 point difference. Juventus is on 32 points. They have 10 wins, 2 draws, 20 goals for, and 9 against. Inter Milan have 31 points from 10 games, 1 draw, or 10 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. They have 26 goals for, 12 against.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, they're very competitive. And I think the game they played against each other, it was like some. No, they haven't played against each other yet. I don't think. I was thinking of Napoli. Napoli almost beat Juventus this year, but scored a fucking. I think Koulibaly scored an own goal at the end of the game to lose.
Yeah,
But
which was very unfortunate.
but anyway, Conte he's revolutionized them, and it's actually refreshing to see. Um, I am happy for Lukaku though that he's leading top goal scorer in Italy. So it's exciting. I'm glad that it's not just a fucking easy win for Juventus in the league every season anymore. I want it to be competitive.
Yeah, it's quite close between those two. I want to bring to light some a team of former glory, which that would be AC Milan. They're currently 14th in the league after spending who knows how much money they have over the past couple seasons.
You know what? That's what United have the danger of becoming if they're not careful. And that's the truth. And they're to the point now they're not. You expect that from them. I don't expect them to ever really turn it around. It just seems like it is what it is with them.
Arsenal are in the same boat if they don't make the Champions League. I mean, Aubameyang's going to leave. Lacazette's going to leave. So,
yeah, they really don't have any major players. They kind of bought a lot of youth that showed a lot of promise, but none of that has really turned out for them, really.
That's a risk when you do that. I mean, look, United have been trying to go that way, it seems, and if it doesn't turn out well and you invest a lot of money, that you can't get your money back. It's not like buying a fucking something from a store and just take your receipt back. Once you get them, I mean, all sales are fucking final. So, well.
It seems like they are very much a ghost of the past and will only have their former glories and triumphs to really remember them by. It's kind of sad to see such a top team just fall down as much as they have over the past decade or so.
Yep.
Well, that will wrap up Serie A. I believe our final is the La Liga, and the two teams are actually we'll go for 3 teams of note. That will be Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid, considering they are the top 3 in their table currently, and they are only split by a point. Barcelona has 25 points. They've won 8, drawn once, and lost 3 times. They have 33 goals for and 15 against. Madrid are level on points with them at 25. Out of the 12 games they've played, they've won 7, drawn 4, and lost 1. They have 25 goals for and 9 against, and Atletico Madrid is sitting on 24 points, only 1 point behind second and first place. They have 6 wins, 6 draws, 1 loss, 15 goals for, and 8 against. So the first of those 3 teams is a 7 a.m. kickoff on Saturday for Barcelona against Leganes.
Well, I definitely think they'll win. I think all 3 of these teams will probably win in
Yeah,
their game.
I think all 3 of them are going to win.
But I think the reason the table is so close, in my honest opinion, is the fact that Messi's been hurt most of the year. I think Messi has scored more goals than he has games played right now in La Liga. And he's with him being back. I mean, I don't really think the other teams have the firepower to keep up with him alone. Since Hazard decided to come in the Real Madrid out of shape, he's back to his every other season kind of motto that he had at Chelsea. So, definitely think as it goes on, if Messi stays healthy, I don't think anybody has a chance in that league.
Well, then, speaking about Real Madrid, how do you feel about all the players that they brought in over the summer? They looked like they would be really good additions, but they really haven't meshed well with the rest of the team, have they?
I think, if this was FIFA, in career mode, this would be, great. But, a lot of the players, at least the back line, are young players. It's just going to take time. It'll just take time. But Real Madrid have never been a team. They're not patient. They don't like taking time. So, these players will probably be for sale in a few years. When Ramos will probably play for a while, and they have Varane, and I don't know. I don't think Real Madrid and their fans, they're not patient enough to wait for those players to grow into the team, because they are the worst group of fans in the world by far.
They certainly are. They've booed the likes of Ronaldo all to hell.
When you fucking boo a player that has scored 60 goals a season for you, don't fucking boo him ever. So
put some respect on his name.
On everybody that plays on that team. I mean, fuck, Gareth Bale has scored a game-winning goal in 2 Champions League finals and had a highlight reel goal for a Copa del Rey final for them. And they boo him every time they see him. If that was like a Premier League team, say like he played for United, okay, and he scored a game-winning goal in 2 Champions League finals, and that goal he did the same thing for FA Cup final, it doesn't matter how he would play the rest of the time. He'd be a fucking legend, and he'd get cheered forever.
We still have a chance for Ronaldo.
Well, here's the thing, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, yes, he was a good player and a good squad player, but he is what he is because of the winning goal in '99. He's not the player. He's never been anywhere near as good as Gareth Bale has been. So, that just shows the difference. Yeah, it just shows how fucking shit they are as a fucking fan base. That's my uncalled for opinion on them.
Yeah, they're certainly a bit ruthless when it comes to players and coaches. They certainly want to see constant success, and when that's not always the case, they seem to be a little immature. They like booing a lot of people, and they honestly just fucking suck. I'm not even gonna fucking quote that. Like, give some respect to some people who have brought you so much fucking glory. You guys won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. I think you can have one off season. Like, quit fucking beating babies. Yeah, like, good grief. Like, you see people come in and out of your team. They always fucking prove their worth. And then when they stop doing that, then you immediately shun them. Like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to fucking celebrate those players. I'd fucking take any one of those fucking players off of Real Madrid's team and slot them right in our squad right now. And I'd fucking sing high praises for them every goddamn game. Because they do their fucking work. And when they finally don't, because a lot of them are coming towards the end of their fucking career. I mean, fucking Modric is in his 30s. Tony Kroos is in his 30s. Benzema, I think, is in his 30s as well. Like, they're getting fucking old. Give them some time. Good lord.
Yeah, snap on him like that.
It's just ridiculous to see them boo people, especially, I mean, just booing Bale and Ronaldo alone. Like, what kind of fan can you be if you can't appreciate what they've done for your team?
Super ungrateful. Simple as that.
Exactly. Well, let's get into the score lines for these games. We'll start off with Barcelona versus Leganes. Obviously, everybody has unanimously decided that Barcelona is going to win. So, what are you guys' exact score lines for the
3-0.
game? Go 3-0 for Trey.
3-0.
5-1.
3-0 and 5-1 for Brady. I'm going to go for a 4-2 to Barcelona, obviously. What about Atletico Madrid versus Granada? How you guys feeling about that?
1-0 win for Atletico.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. 1-0 for me too.
Oh,
right.
2-0.
They don't seem like they're scoring a lot.
Atletico Madrid really is notorious for sitting back and playing a lot of counterattacking football. They never really score a lot. I'm actually going to go for a surprise 1-1, which will bring us to our final prediction of the week. It is going to be Real Madrid versus Real Sociedad. How are you guys seeing how that goes for that game?
Probably a 2-0 for Real Madrid.
So we'll go 2-0 for Brady.
I'll go 2-1.
2-1 for Ben.
For Real Madrid.
2-1.
And 2-1 for Trey. I will also go for 2-1. Seems like the most likely scoreline for that. That wraps up our weekly predictions for this week. We will come back to these predictions next week and see how our predictions hold up against the final results for each game. Are there any other topics that you boys would wish to discuss for this week of the Uncalled Podcast Soccer Edition?
Nope, that's
that's it. I do want to take a moment to say it again to our loyal listeners. Thank you again for listening. Our first podcast has been up for a day now, and we have had 22 downloads, and we have been taking it light on even promotion. It's on Spotify and Podbean currently. You can find them there. We're working on getting it on iTunes. It's under review currently. We're getting ready to upload the first one to YouTube as well soon. You can follow us on Twitter at The Uncalled For. Is it The Uncalled For Podcast?
I think it's just the Uncalled For.
The Uncalled For on Twitter.
With 2 E's.
With 2 E's. Trey, you can plug our Instagram.
Same thing.
It's the same thing. So The Uncalled For with 2 E's and the. So you can follow us there. We're going to start our promotion here soon once we get everything loaded on all platforms. So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. Later this week, we should be having some more special episodes. The Weeaboo podcast with Logan, John, and Sean.
Weird shit.
Trey, I know, wants to do a basketball podcast.
Saturday night, I'll be recording that. I got somebody from Minnesota coming in on the podcast.
I should be in that one too.
Yeah,
so
probably have more people.
So, with that being said, everybody, we're also working on actively trying to find guests. We want to get established a little bit first before we start having guests. And like I said, hope you guys enjoy. Follow the podcast on Spotify. Follow it on iTunes when it's up there. We'll let you know in the next episode if it's current. We'll also let you know on Twitter when we get a word. and we'll also let you know and send links for the YouTube channel as well. You can find us for the Uncalled For on YouTube. Links will be in description on Twitter. So again, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. And
Facts.
All right. Would you
look forward
guys
to seeing
like
you
to say farewell to the podcast? Say farewell to our fans.
Thanks, guys. Go Blues.
Go Blues.
All right. Well, this has been the Uncalled For podcast. Soccer
Every
Nation.
out.
This has been Logan and the rest of the crew. Farewell and see you next time.
Get him out of here, coach.
Adios.
See,
Adios.
see,
Adios.
see,
Adios.
see,
Adios.
see,
Adios.
see,
Adios.
see.